You want the moon? Just say the word and I'll throw a lasso around it and pull it down.
Look at the stars. The great kings of the past look down on us from those stars. So whenever you feel alone, just remember that those kings will always be there to guide you.
I don't think it is very useful to speculate on what God might or might not be able to do. Rather, we should examine what he actually does with the universe we live in.
We are all explorers, driven to know what's over the horizon. The most profound discoveries are not necessarily beyond that next star. They're within us, woven into the threads that bind us.
Hello, beautiful people. Happy Tuesday, happy Mars Day, and a happy birthday to today's notable Virgos, including Idris Elba. I love that he's a Virgo. Pippa Middleton, also a Virgo. Very interesting because, you know, Pippa Middleton had her moment, the back of the dress at the royal wedding. Interesting that she's a Virgo. She has some pure Virgo vibes, though. Let's see who else. John Wall, Naomi Harris, Macy Gray. Love that. Rosie Perez is a Virgo. Some fun Virgo people. And if you're a Virgo, if you know someone celebrating their birthday today, let us know so we can celebrate them in the comments too. Nick is here. Katie's here. Corby is here wishing us a happy Tuesday. Hi, Rachel. Hey, Diane. BB. I know I'm always late. You guys, it's funny that you picked up on this because I was like, I am going to talk about this today. You know what? I'm just like really feeling that 12th house transit right now. Just slow and sleepy and really not wanting to be up early and go, go, go. I have a feeling once I come back from my trip later this month, I'll have this renewed energy. But thank you for being patient with me, everybody. You know, I'm just kind of in this season of rest and slowing down quite a bit. So if you're feeling that as well, if you're the sun or the moon even are in your 12th house, you probably can relate. Thank you. And it's not even like a sadness necessarily, although that can definitely come with 12th house transits. It's more just kind of the slowing so I can pick back up with full steam ahead once the sun crosses over my ascendant. I have a lot of things that I want to create and a lot of new things I want to do. So, you know, the beauty of astrology is kind of knowing what's going on with the energy and taking full advantage of each season. Rachel says, not alone with that 12th house feeling very irritable today. Don't worry. We all just go with the flow. I'm excited. We have a reading tomorrow, right, Rachel? Because I'm excited to look at your chart. We have similar orientations, so we're probably experiencing a lot of the same things. I'd be so happy to sleep past 7 a.m. You know what's funny also? When I first started this live stream, I was coming off of being a morning news reporter. So I had this sense of urgency, like I have to get up first thing in the morning and make sure to get the stream out really early so people can see it earlier in the day, right? And I was trying to stream at like 7 a.m., 7:30, even earlier some days. And that urgency has really just left the building. Not sure if that's for the best, but right now that's where I'm at. And I was also on a really early morning schedule for a long time. I used to wake up at 2:30, 3 a.m. every day. So being able to sleep in until 7:30 or 8 feels like such a luxury to me right now. And I know that life won't always be that way. So again, just trying to take full advantage of this season, slowing down, kind of going with the flow now because there's a lot going on behind the scenes that I'm working on to revamp in the next season. Once that first house energy kicks in. Yeah, I'm so excited for our reading. Enjoying the good life now, baby. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I don't have any obligations first thing in the morning other than being here. So, yeah, I know life won't always be that way. Interesting that we're talking about slowing down. Yes, so important to follow your own rhythms. It's interesting because I've always been at battle with my own rhythms too. I like to sleep in later. I'm a night owl by nature, and I don't necessarily feel the best when I fully lean into that. So a lot of balance playing out, trying to figure out how to be my best self every day, but also honor my body's natural rhythms. Okay, but enough about me. How was the concert? It was amazing. Highly recommend seeing Shania Twain if you can. Vegas itself, not really my jam, but Shania, love her. It was amazing. So we've been talking about slowing down, and that brings us to the energy of the day. The sun in Virgo, which is definitely not a slow energy, very productive energy, right? But the moon's in Capricorn, and that Capricorn energy likes us to move slow and steady, be very methodical, logical, and practical with all the steps we're taking. So you might be feeling that as well. Or, when the moon's in Capricorn, it's in detriment. It doesn't really love to be here. It makes us more emotionally cold and distant. Over the next couple of days, you'll probably feel that a little bit more. The moon moves into Aquarius tonight, which similar energy to Capricorn when it comes to our emotions, just kind of wanting our space, wanting distance, being a little bit more isolated and cold. But the full moon in Pisces will open the floodgates. Let's be honest. The emotions will come flooding up. So what's happening with the Capricorn moon today does help us be a little bit more sensitive and empathetic. There's a connection to Neptune we're talking about, but there really is this feeling of slowing down, making sure that the steps we're taking now are logical and that they are supporting our long-term plan and vision. That's very much Capricorn energy. BB says, wish I had Cap in my 10th house instead of scattered Gemini. Yeah, but Gemini in the 10th house can make you very chatty and communicative in your career. So there's always a darkness and a light to every transit, right? Capricorn 10th house is nice, but also you can be so focused on the long term and on success that maybe you miss the fun of life. And Gemini in the 10th house brings a lot of fun energy into your career. Okay, so let's talk about what's going on with the Capricorn moon today. It's in the waxing gibbous phase, and we talked a lot about Capricorn energy yesterday, so we won't get back into it. But if you want a fun little back and forth about all the ways we experience Capricorn energy, go see yesterday's episode. Probably about halfway through, we got on a little tangent. Do I ever talk? People walk away after a while. That is that Gemini energy, right? I love that. You have Capricorn in your second house. We love that. Stability and success, calling in money with responsibility, practicality. Love that. Okay, so for you, Nick, the moon is moving through your second house. You're probably very focused on resources and money right now. So the waxing gibbous moon, let's just talk about the phase. We talked a lot about Capricorn energy. That's funny, Rachel, your fiance, and you have like switched roles. He's like in that full Virgo energy, right? And you're like, I am having a 12th house moment. But isn't that beautiful, that yin and yang? Like when you're kind of feeling low, he can pick up the pace and vice versa. Anyway, I keep getting distracted. So the waxing gibbous moon. This is the phase as we're leading up to the full moon, and we haven't talked about this analogy in a while, but I like to look at the moon's phase as like a cup being filled up. So the new moon is the empty cup. The full moon, of course, is the full cup getting ready to spill over and empty back out. So in this waxing gibbous phase, we are still pouring water into the cup. We're still gaining energy as the moon gains light. And these are the moments leading up to the full moon where we're gathering any final resources, making any adjustments, gathering maybe new perspectives, which will be really big over the next few days with the waxing gibbous moon in Aquarius, and just preparing for this culmination point. We've already started to take action, and now that action is kind of snowballing, and we're just picking up things along the way, if that makes sense. So the waxing gibbous moon in Capricorn is kind of asking us, like, practically, what do we need? What final things do we logically need to pull in to see whatever intentions we set come to fruition, come to this culmination point. Now, these could be intentions that you set under the new moon in Virgo, or they could be intentions you set under the new moon in Pisces during Pisces season. Because remember, moons work on 6-month cycles, even year-long cycles sometimes. So just kind of taking this time to practically take a look at what intentions you set, and are there any things you're logically missing or any logical adjustments you need to make? That's kind of what the Capricorn waxing gibbous moon is asking us to do. He's an Aquarius moon, so I think that's something with it. He's about to have his lunar return. My partner's also an Aquarius moon, and I told him, I'm like, your moon's coming. So he's probably feeling that. Resources and money, hoping to get some groceries later today if I get some funds. They're coming. The moon's in your 2nd house. Moon in your 4th. Home focus. Yeah, this is a great time to focus on the home. Maybe make some adjustments to your home. Aw, you guys are so sweet. Okay, so let's talk about the connections the Capricorn moon is making. Overnight, we got to put back in our local time zone. For those of you who don't live in Sacramento, that's where I'm at. So that's usually the chart I use for the Pacific time zone. And you can see that the moon is at 24 degrees in Capricorn right now. So you know the main transit we're going to be talking about today is that conjunction to Pluto, but the moon is making a couple different connections first. So overnight tonight, last night, the moon formed a trine to Uranus. This was about 1 a.m. So you might have even started feeling this energy last night. I know a lot of people got some late night bursts of energy, maybe stayed up late. We're kind of anticipating today, last night, or you might have had disturbed sleep because Uranus is the planet of disruption. Even exciting dreams could have come through. I don't see this as a transit that really affected too many people because most of us were probably asleep during it. But when the moon harmonizes with Uranus like this, it gets us excited. It kind of gives us this urge for a thrill. Like we're just kind of open to new experiences and new excitement and new perspectives when the moon harmonizes with Uranus. Definitely priming us for this Aquarius moon that we are coming into today. So that was the first transit we experienced overnight. Maybe you felt it, maybe you didn't. Let me know in the comments if you were up late or kind of restless last night. Now, what we're feeling right now, you can see on the chart, the moon forming a sextile to Neptune. And this is what I mentioned. Yes, the Capricorn moon can make us a little cold-hearted, a little bit more serious and practical. And like, we're not really feeling our feelings just to feel them. Our feelings have to make practical sense under the Capricorn moon, right? We need to have a logical reason why we're feeling the things we're feeling. But Neptune softens that energy, especially in this supportive sextile, and helps us be a little bit more fluid, imaginative, creative. This is a great afternoon to just like go with the flow, literally let things flow through you, maybe do an artistic or creative project. Maybe even just take a nap if you're feeling tired. Neptune is like, listen to your body, just like let your body tell you what it needs right now. It's very fluid. And Neptune is also associated with compassion and empathy. So that's where we can feel the energy of the Capricorn moon be softened by Neptune. We can sense other people's energy. We're more sensitive emotionally, but also just sensitive to how other people are feeling too. So it's a really nice softening of the Capricorn moon. Lots of people had restless sleep. My son wakes up at 3 a.m. to disturb my sleep. So he was probably restless last night. And remember, when the moon makes a connection, we feel it a couple hours before and after. So, last night, he probably was just like anticipating or a little anxious, definitely restless. Woke up at 3 a.m. Took me almost an hour to go back to bed. Yeah, very restless. You guys are so aligned with the moon's energy. Didn't sleep, so that's probably why I'm so tired and irritable. Well, Neptune right now is giving you full permission to rest, take a nap, let it flow, right? Give yourself grace. And that 12th house transit. I was thinking of you actually when I woke up this morning and saw your stories from last night, Court. Like, what should I do tonight? That was so you. You're like posting to your story, like, should I keep working? And it's like 9 o'clock at night, starting to feel that energy, that restlessness. That is so funny. Yeah, I sensed that you were feeling that trine to Uranus. But now the sextile to Neptune, helping us have grace, compassion, empathy for ourselves and for others today. And, lean into our imagination, whether that's through dreaming in an afternoon nap or just doing a creative project. We love Neptune's influence, especially when there's a Capricorn moon. But the transit we're all really feeling today, the strongest energy of the day, I think a conjunction is probably one of the most strongly felt transits we feel. Same thing with an opposition, but especially a conjunction, right? Hi, Bailey. The moon is conjunct Pluto this afternoon, and we're coming into that conjunction right now, especially when we talk about a Pluto transit. Pluto is associated with intensity, depth, obsession, addiction. It's that dark, shadowy energy. It's that death and rebirth energy. So it's not all bad. I don't think there are good or bad transits, but there could be intense emotions that come up as the moon comes into this conjunction with Pluto, which will be exact around 3 o'clock this afternoon Pacific time. So how do we work with this? Well, we talked a little bit about Capricorn energy yesterday, and that it can be very harsh. It's like reserved and cold, and then all of a sudden, once the ice cracks open, there's fire underneath, right? So, be nice. Like, that's the first thing I will say. Be nice this afternoon as the moon forms a conjunction to Pluto. We can have really intense emotions surface during this conjunction, and maybe things that were hidden deep down that we didn't realize were there, that I wouldn't say could surprise us, but could kind of like catch us off guard. Like, oh, I didn't realize that was going to come up right now. So be kind to yourself and understand that other people are probably feeling really intense things as well. And understand that whatever emotions are coming up during this conjunction to Pluto are trying to show you that there's something deep within, there's something your subconscious has been kind of hiding or keeping down, that is trying to come up through these intense emotions. We have a tendency anytime there's a connection to Pluto, but especially during a conjunction, to obsess, to manipulate, to try to overpower others because it's uncomfortable. We want to be in control of the death and rebirth process, but as we know, we're not in control. So instead of trying, if you're feeling intense things, to like make other people appease you, or like trying to show other people, this is how strongly I'm feeling right now, go within. The connection to Neptune, as well as the conjunction to Pluto, are really powerful transits that can activate our psychic abilities. So meditating this afternoon or this evening, even just laying down, giving yourself rest and seeing what your body does with that. Anything that can kind of help you, journaling, anything that can help you go deep within, uncover the truths that are lying beneath those intense emotions. That's a really powerful way to use this transit. But if you're not there, just grace. Giving yourself grace, giving other people grace, knowing that could be a bit of an intense evening with the moon meeting up with Pluto. And I've said this before, but especially with a conjunction, you can kind of picture like the moon being this amplifier or this satellite of Pluto. Like they're at the same point in our night sky or in our day sky, depending on where you live. And so it's like the moon is pulling through Pluto's energy and amplifying it down here to Earth. So, it's also, we're getting ready for the full moon, this point of release. Pluto could be bringing up some things that need to be released. Also, Mercury retrograde. We're starting to feel the shadow period, or we're in the shadow period, but we're really starting to feel the effects of Mercury retrograde. Lots of people I've seen are getting contacted by their ex or friends that may have no longer been in their life for a long time. And Pluto can make that intense as well. And Mercury going retrograde is going to form an aspect to Pluto, I believe. Pluto's been playing a role in Mercury's retrograde cycle this year. So there could be feelings about past situations that are coming up now thanks to Mercury's shadow period, thanks to Mercury stationing retrograde right around the full moon. So a lot of the intensity that Pluto is drumming up today is coming up for you to be able to address it and then maybe even release it under the full moon on Saturday. Went to sleep at 10, woke up at 3. You guys were all feeling that Uranus transit. Tried going back to sleep until 6 and got up. Ooh. Neptune is saying, take a nap, everybody. Oh, yeah. Everyone in your family has Capricorn in their big 3. So you're all feeling this Capricorn moon, but definitely grace, 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 grace. Because, you know this, Katie. The Capricorn energy can be so serious sometimes. And like, why is this happening? Like we need to understand. And something, I don't know if he's still watching, but something that my partner does a lot as somebody with a Capricorn stellium is like, it's very practical. Like we're feeling this emotion and it's uncomfortable. How can we prevent feeling this in the future? It's like this very logical approach to emotions, which we're all feeling during a Capricorn moon. We're more distanced from our intuition and from our ability to just like trust and flow. And it's like, we're trying to be more in control of the human experience with the moon in Capricorn, which, it's just like resisting the flow in a lot of ways. My mom told me this weekend, she almost named me Olivia, but didn't because my last name is Newton. And of course, Olivia Newton-John. That would have been so funny, Bailey or Olivia Newton. I love the name Bailey, but also I'm partial to the name Olivia because it's been my name my whole life. But that is so funny. Now there are like a million Olivias running around. It's like the most popular name for the past 10 years. I had a lot coming up yesterday. Tried my best not to judge it. Wept and journaled. Beautiful. Almost like a purging. Definitely needed it. And how beautiful that you can just acknowledge, like, this is what I need right now. And having these healthy outlets for these emotions. There are so many people who would be experiencing the same things and probably not know what to do with those emotions, not know how to process them. You're already giving yourself so much grace, Corby, and it's such a beautiful example to all of us that sometimes we just have to let these emotions come up, especially on a day like today with the moon forming a conjunction to Pluto, letting yourself feel the intensity. It's part of the human experience, right? And letting it be released, letting it show you what you've maybe been hiding from or avoiding. So beautiful. Yeah, sending so much love to you. Look at you guys all feeling it. You had a purge cry journal yesterday as well. You guys are so sweet to each other. Yeah, I've been feeling pulled to journal more too. Maybe we'll all be journaling together in spirit. You have a Capricorn stellium. Yeah. Well, and the moon going over those planets brings emotional awareness to your Capricorn placements, right? So where is that Capricorn stellium in your chart? Is that associated with the emotions you're feeling right now? Or what planets are in Capricorn? And are those elements of your life being activated by the Capricorn moon? These are all ways that we can use astrology to kind of make sense, as we love to make logical sense of things during the Capricorn moon. Oh, thank you. Lean into the poll, Rachel. You'll be better for it. And I need to lean into the poll too. I think right after I get off the stream, I'm going to go do some journaling. I used to hate the name Olivia. When I was really little, like when Britney Spears was all the rage, I wanted to be named Brittany or Ashley or something normal. Nobody else was really named Olivia other than like Olivia Newton-John at that point. And so I would always be like, ugh, I just want a normal name. And now everyone and their mother is naming their kids Olivia. And I'm like, well, I manifested that. I wanted a name that everybody else had. And now everybody else is being named Olivia. I love the name Barbara. I think it's a sweet name. Had to share that. I thought immediately of you and how we're all Virgos. Yeah, I draw the Virgos in here, the Virgo placements and the Capricorn placements too, apparently. My dad loves race cars, and over the holiday weekend, my fiance and I stayed at my parents' house. I showed my dad the clip of you taking a ride in the drag car. Oh my gosh, that was from years ago when I worked in Reno. Yeah, they sent me in a drag car, and that was a whole drama that I won't get into because my helmet was not like properly clipped and I got in trouble for doing it. It was a whole thing, but it was so much fun. So much fun. Yeah. And if he's into cars, Hot August Nights in Reno is such a fun event every year that they have there. Capricorn rising, feeling all of this too. Took a late night walk last night to clear my mind. The moon was so bright. So yeah, you were probably feeling that energy. Like, I just need to do something. I'm like anticipating something as the moon connected with Uranus. And the moon moving into your first house too can bring kind of a refreshed energy, a new energy. But it might have been in your 12th house, more reflective. Maybe today it moves into your first house. We had a laugh. Yeah. Thank you. I'm glad I can make you laugh. I've done a lot of weird things on TV thanks to working in news. I've also ridden a camel. You can find that on my YouTube page as well. I raced a camel. Yes. Mercury, Uranus, and Saturn. Oh, so this moon has been really activating your mind. A beautiful way to use it, right? Journaling. You felt called to journal. The moon conjunct Mercury in your chart. So beautiful. Saturn, Neptune, fears, emotions, sensitivities coming up. Literally so perfect for that journaling session that you had. Barbara is so old as a name. No, I think we need to start bringing the name Barbara back. It was fun. It was really fun. Oh, and you're in Reno now. How old was I when I lived there? I moved there when I was 22 to 24. So I only lived there for 2 years before I moved back home to Sacramento. But Reno it was an interesting experience. It was definitely necessary for my journey and for my growth, and it served a lot for me, but I don't know if I would ever move back there. There was a lot that happened in my life during my time in Reno. Now I just like to go back and visit because Sacramento is super close. But yeah, I lived there for 2 years. Hi, Zombie. Had Olivia Moore who went by Liv Moore. You could always go by Liv. Nobody has ever called me Liv, which is funny. I've only ever been called Olivia, or like growing up, everybody called me O, but never Livy. No one's ever called me Livy. One guy actually I worked with in Reno who I loved, he used to call me Ollie, which I thought was cute. He's the only person who ever called me that. But yeah, I've never gone by Liv. Happy birthday to you, Bailey. You just turned 22 yesterday. So wild. I was 22 when I lived in Reno. You're 22 living there now. And 22 is a good year. It's a master number in numerology. If you haven't already, look into the numerology of 22. So fun. You're still a young, fresh spirit. So much life ahead of you. I say that, and I'm still in my 20s. But 22 feels like a lifetime ago. The Barbara name always reminds me of Barbara and Adam, like from Beetlejuice. I always think of Barbara Ann by the Beach Boys. Happy birthday, Bailey. Belated birthday, but still we can celebrate you. So those are the connections the Capricorn moon is making today. As we've gotten off on this conversation, you know, I just can't help myself chatting with you all. So the moon is void. Yeah, definitely serving its purpose. Never saw myself here if you would have asked me years ago. Okay, one more aside on Reno. When I was looking for jobs, because when you're looking for jobs in the news industry, you kind of have to prepare to go anywhere. It's all based on market size. So usually smaller towns are where you start, and then you can make your way up to bigger cities. And I had a list of places that I would be open to working. And I always said, I'm never going to live in Reno. I refuse to live in Reno. Long story short, I drove up to Reno all the time as a kid and didn't have great experiences there. So I was like, oh gosh, no, I cannot live in Reno. Where do I end up? Reno, Nevada. I had a job offer I just couldn't turn down. It felt right. I went to visit the station and definitely had a soul contract with that job because it was a rocky ride. But yeah, I don't know if I could ever live there again. Sacramento is just a short drive away. Come join us over here. Yeah. Also 2022. So, you know, I'm so into it right now. That means you were born in 2000, doesn't it? You were not alive in the 90s. That to me is mind-blowing. Mind-blowing. But yeah, wow. 22 in 2022. Super cool. Everybody wishing Bailey happy birthday. Okay, so the moon goes void from about 4 to about 8:30 this evening, I should say. And if intensity comes up during that conjunction to Pluto, the void moon's a great time to say sorry, to smooth things over, to kind of like use the dampening energy of the void moon, not making any more connections, to just chill out a little bit, take a break, finish up any loose ends, don't start anything new this afternoon, just like really let things die down under the void moon. Then at 8:41, the moon moves into Aquarius, the last sign before the full moon. So let's talk about Aquarius energy for a moment here before we wrap up. Aquarius is the second to last sign of the zodiac, and it's very much associated with our community, with humanity, with being part of a larger collective. So when the moon is in Aquarius, especially a waxing gibbous moon, we might feel called to be in community. And Aquarius is also associated with eccentricity, unique qualities, being weird, marching to the beat of your own drum. So by putting yourself into community situations or kind of just putting yourself out there in general, you might open yourself up to new perspectives. And remember what we talked about with the waxing gibbous moon. This is a time to gather more information, make any final adjustments. By opening yourself to new perspectives, you might see something in a different way than you did before, or gain new insight under the Aquarius moon that kind of helps you push towards that culmination point, maybe a missing piece that you didn't see before, or a way to see something in a new light. But also emotionally, there's this feeling of wanting to stand out from the crowd, but also wanting to be accepted for exactly who we are. So you might be feeling a little funkier, like you kind of want to express your weirdness under the Aquarius moon, especially as we get closer to the full moon. It's like really illuminating all the things that make us different. That's Aquarius's motto, like, I'm different, I'm weird. So those qualities might start coming up and surfacing over the next couple days, like, I just want to show everybody how weird I am, how unique I am. Music as well. You might be feeling, especially as Mercury is slowing down, nostalgic about music that maybe you like that's a little bit more eccentric, or sharing music. Aquarius to me is very much associated with music as this collective experience. So maybe you find yourself wanting to listen to music more, or being drawn to music that it reminds you of a certain time in your life, or is just a little bit more eccentric. 2000 baby. I was raised and grew up with everybody from the 90s, though. You're right on that edge. Yeah. Thank you so much. You guys are so sweet. And that's okay. We will always get off track to wish you a happy birthday. You dyed your hair magenta just now, because that is very much feeling that Aquarius moon. You're already ready for it. Also, aren't you a Capricorn rising? So moon moving into your first house, you're I need to change my appearance. All about your appearance right now. That's so funny. So yeah, that Aquarius moon, you're going to be wanting to show off that magenta hair. Look how different I am. Look how unique I am. That's a very Aquarius moon of you. Yeah. You got to send a picture. We need to see the magenta hair. I've always wanted to dye my hair pink, but I've never been brave enough to do it. Yeah, love that for you. Cap rising Aquarius sun. Yes, so that is so on point with what's going on with the transits. The moon moving into your first house, again, focus on appearance. And then when the moon moves into Aquarius, it will conjunct your sun, really, again, bringing this awareness, this kind of new moon moment, this refreshed moment for you, showing up, and this kind of emotional awareness into how you show up and how you set yourself apart as an Aquarius sun. Wild hair is the best. Yes, we would love to see it. We would love to see it. How fun and perfect, a perfect way to represent the energy that we're currently walking through, and specifically the energy that you are currently walking through. Roger Waters of Pink Floyd has a birthday today. We should listen to some Pink Floyd. Perfect. When the moon moves into Aquarius, perfect energy, right? Love that. Yeah, you guys. Awesome. Will do. Okay, let's come back to our affirmation of the day. I am meeting new versions of myself every day. How perfect is this? Literally talking about Katie dyeing her hair a different color, stepping into a new version of herself physically. Even those of you who've been talking about journaling and purging and crying and getting emotions out, like that's all part of meeting a new version of yourself, releasing the old and also meeting new emotions as they come up. Like, oh, I didn't even realize you've been living in there. You've been part of me this whole time, you know? So meeting new versions of ourselves. We're never the same as we were even 5 minutes ago. We're constantly evolving, and being open to meeting that next version of ourselves constantly, that death and rebirth cycle that the moon conjunct Pluto really brings an awareness to. You're already working with the energy if you're just open to asking, like, who am I today? How have I evolved today? Who am I becoming today? You know, and that's a really fun way, if you ask me, to look at life. To just, sometimes we get so stuck on like, this is who I am and this is what's important to me, but also just being open to what version of myself am I going to be today? Because we're so multifaceted, right? We have so much going on. We're so much more than one description or value or trait could describe. So open to meeting new versions of yourself. So perfect for you, Katie. Yeah, some Avril Lavigne vibes. I just dyed my hair, so I don't know if I want to mess up the art that she created. But one day, we're going to add some pink or something fun into this hair. Maybe some temporary color. I wrote about evolving and being forgiving of those prior versions. So on point with the transits. So on point. And so perfect with the energy we're talking about today, consistently meeting ourselves over and over again. Look at that. And we're talking about nostalgia too, like finding a past version of yourself, bringing her back to life. Yes, 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 please. That sounds so fun. All right, we're going to pull from a deck that I have not pulled from in a long time, actually, the Moonology Oracle deck, because we've been talking so much about the moon today. And if you haven't been around a while, I don't have the guidebook for this deck, so I got to pull it up digitally here. Definitely sustainable, not as easy to find the definitions, though. What's fun, though, is that this deck is like basically a card deck, like a normal card deck, so I can do the fun shuffling sound, a little ASMR for you guys. Also dyed your hair red in high school and blue. You guys are so fun. I have never done anything crazy like that. Maybe I need to. Maybe I need to. Okay. You know the drill. Let me know how the energy is feeling for you. Maybe what plans you have for today, what intentions you have for today. It can be really powerful to share your intentions in the chat. Write them out, speak them out, or just keep telling me all the fun colors you've dyed your hair over the years. All right. Okay, everybody joining me live, if we can all just take a moment together to take a deep breath. Here we go. Breathe in and release. What do we need to know? A fiery climax approaches. It's a full moon card, but it's actually the full moon in Aries, which is interesting because the full moon in Aries is not this full moon, but the next full moon. So this description, which I'll pull up right now, could be indicating a cycle that is just beginning, or it could be indicating what's coming up around this full moon. Let's see what it has to say. Page 68. Let me scroll down to page 68 here. Here we go. Almost there. 50. Okay. Full moon in Aries. Here we go. It's time to see if you've been a little too much me. There's a tug of war going on between what you want and what someone else wants, but you'll have to wait a little while to see what's going to happen next. As you wait, ask yourself if you've been handling the situation as sensitively as you could have done. If you know deep down that you've been a little rash or harsh, gone too fast or overstepped the mark, then accept that on some level you created this situation yourself, which means you can create your way out of it too. When this card comes up, a peak is coming and it could be fiery. This feels very much like the moon conjunct Pluto as well. It can bring up some intensity, some fiery emotions. Pluto is like that. There's a lot of fiery energy with Pluto. It's that death and rebirth, the phoenix rising from the ashes. So fiery emotions are definitely possible. But also it's really interesting that this talks about this tug of war, or like if you're so me, how are you relating to others? And also interesting, we've been talking a lot about balance with Mercury and Libra in its shadow period right now. There could be some issues in communication coming up in relationships as Libra rules our relationships. So as you wait, ask yourself if you've been handling the situation as sensitively as you could have done. Here are some other little affirmations or suggestions that the guidebook gives. Be nice, be kind, smile, and be polite as you navigate to where you want to be. Might take a little extra effort under the cold and serious Capricorn moon to smile and to be a little bit lighter and more playful, but that can help diffuse any tense energy that comes up. It also says being assertive is good, just don't ride roughshod over anyone. We talked a lot about the tendency to try to control or manipulate when we're experiencing intense emotions. So yes, we can be assertive, we can be a leader under the Capricorn moon, but not overbearing. If you're in a tense situation, meditate your way to peace. Something we already talked about, using the heightened psychic energy of these connections to Neptune and Pluto to go within. Meditate. Don't be a baby. That's what it also says. And then it literally says, sorry, but this could be an issue. And you need to have more fun. Those are the messages that came through. No matter when you pull this card, it signals that the situation has just or is about to come to a peak, perhaps in a rather heated way. There could be a price to pay if you've been too competitive or blunt. So all comes back to grace. And that's exactly what Nick says. It all comes back to having grace for ourselves, going within, observing emotions as they come up, asking what they are asking us for, like, what do we need right now? Why are these intense feelings coming up? And also, I really love that this talked about relationships, because remember, we're here for ourselves. We're here to process our own emotions, but not everybody else out in the world is doing that or prioritizing that. So they could not understand that the moon is conjunct Pluto and they're feeling all these intense things. And that's where being too harsh or controlling or manipulative could cause a fiery climax. So we want to give grace to other people too. I could have used this yesterday, but it's interesting that it says it signals the situation has just or is about to come to a peak. So maybe for you, that was the peak. And now there's kind of this period of processing, like, okay, what did I learn from that? Capricorn energy is very much associated with lessons and being responsible. So like, how can I take that situation and add it to my encyclopedia of experience, if you will, and maybe act differently the next time. I journaled about Virgo season shadow prompts. So this is so aligned, so perfect. Yeah, this card, feeling called out a little bit as I vacuum. And listen, my intentions are to get this house clean and then hopefully a nap. Perfect fourth house energy for you, baby. Yeah, I feel like I'm being called out. This card does feel like being called out. Tensions have been coming up with my partner and I today, going to journal about it and figure out where all of this is coming from. Got to acknowledge my shadow side. Oh, part of being human, right? But, tension is here to teach us lessons and maybe show us things that we were just kind of skating over or ignoring before. So this fiery climax is here to teach us something. Just remember to give yourself grace in the process, lighten up a little bit, and be compassionate for other people's experience too. Journaling that lesson today, beautiful. The worst part is it's in my control, and the best part is it's in my control. Ooh, I'm going to write that down. Yes. The worst part is it's in my control, and the best part is it's in my control. Very much aligned with focus on what you can control. All we can control is ourself, right? Beautiful reflection. All part of the growth. Love the compassion and grace that this community has given. That makes me so happy. What a beautiful note to end on, everybody. I am so grateful for you all sharing your reflections every day, being here with us, being vulnerable, talking about what you're going through in your own life. It's so powerful to know that we're not alone, that, yeah, we all go through conflict. We all go through fiery moments. There is not a human on this earth that has not experienced fire, anger, obsession, hurt, all these like really intense, powerful emotions. It's part of being human. And getting to a place that you are all at now where you can ask, oh, what's this showing me? Like, that is a huge step in your own evolution. So pat yourself on the back. You're here, you're aware, you're willing to become more aware and continue evolving, continue to meet yourself, the new version of yourself that you're becoming every day. And I just adore you all. I think you're all amazing. So thank you for showing up for yourself today. Thank you for showing up for this community, for showing up for each other, for constantly lifting each other up. Like, you guys always affirm to me that there are good people in this world, and I am grateful. Thank you. Yeah, it's going to be like 1:15 in Sacramento today. I got one more cat I'm making come in the house today out of the heat. You're so sweet. Just saving all the cats from the heat. Thank goodness we got AC before this heat wave, you guys. It is a scorcher. Love you. Have a great day. I will see you right back here tomorrow, everyone, talking about some of the other transits that are starting to play out. The North Node forming a sextile to Lilith. We're really starting to feel that Mercury retrograde energy. Oh, yeah. I didn't realize you are in Arizona. It's always hot there in the summer, right? It's hotter here than it is in Arizona right now, which is just wild. Always enjoy seeing you in the chat. All right, everybody. I will see you right back here tomorrow morning, but I hope you have a beautiful rest of your Tuesday. And until I see you next, stay curious. Thank you so much for joining us and aligning with the energy of the universe today. If you enjoyed this morning's episode of Transits Today, you can join our live astrology discussion every weekday morning right here wherever you're watching. And head to thespiritualjournalist.com to read your daily astrology forecast and browse the Spiritual Shop. The most fun way to help keep these forecasts free and support more content like this is to buy yourself a little something on our website. But if you're feeling extra generous, you can also buy me a coffee to fuel future live streams. Just tap the link in the description or head to buymeacoffee.com and search The Spiritual Journalist. And speaking of, you can also tune in to The Spiritual Journalist, our weekly live interview where we ask our guests questions about everything from crystals and manifestation to mental health and the environment. Those conversations stream live right here wherever you're watching now every Tuesday. I'm so grateful you found us here, and I can't wait for our next conversation.